Okay, well, it is that time of year, it's Mardi Gras. So we're making some jambalaya. So remember, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. Now let's get cooking. Palatable.
Yeah, and you're partially done.
First things first, with jambalaya, we're building flavors. So, well, yes, we're gonna use an Instant Pot, but yes, there are a lot of steps because it's jambalaya. But this is a perfect party food, makes a lot. We're using the Instant Pot to take all the guesswork out of like cooking in a normal pot. But we're gonna layer our flavors and build them up. So first things first, we're gonna take some really good Andouille sausage, throw it down in here. Now this is gonna be kind of a process on cooking. I recommend getting a timer. You're gonna do this for 5 minutes. So we've tried this 100 different ways. So 5 minutes comes out perfect. You wanna brown it a little bit, get some of the fat out. So that's what we're gonna do. Our timer has gone off. Our andouille sausages have a nice light little brown. You're not trying to like overcook them. You just want to kind of render out some of that fat. Hey guy, get back here. So we're gonna get these guys out. And then we're gonna throw in some shrimp, but I seasoned that with some of our Slap Ya Mama seasoning, which this is the Cajun seasoning we're using for this recipe because it's a very clean, just plain, lots of flavor. I don't mean to say plain like unflavored, but it's basically salt, black pepper, red pepper, and garlic. That's literally all it says.
Doesn't have any of those bad additives.
Yes. Doesn't have MSG, which doesn't agree with me. So, you know, that's why we chose that one for this one. That's really good. So we're gonna throw in our shrimp. Toss that around. And of course, we put our seasoning on the shrimp. And we're gonna do this for 3 minutes because we're not gonna fully cook the shrimp. We're just kind of par cooking it. We're gonna finish the shrimp off at the end of the cook. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. These are nicely par cooked. Now, I know I've seen a lot researching this kind of recipe and people using this technique of the Instant Pot. They would put their shrimp in with all the rice and cook it to death. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people, they only know or have had overcooked shrimp, but you don't want to do it because then it gets really nasty and rubbery. So if there's a little liquid left over from the shrimp, that's not a problem. You can just still saute off. Then we're gonna take our chicken. Now we use chicken thighs and we cut them into little cubes, about 1 inch cube. And a little tip, don't buy skinless and deboned. You're gonna pay double for what you can do. And plus, I like to use the bones. I throw the skin away, but I keep the bones because that's gonna actually just add more flavor, especially in the cooking, the stock and everything. So we're gonna throw that in with some of more of our Cajun seasoning. Like I said, this recipe is really about building flavors in your pot before you put everything in and let it stew. So it's just a good way, and you kind of get a little par cook and a little brown on your chicken and your sausage. And I personally think that really helps when you're using a pressure cooker to keep it not turning into like pulled chicken. And that's another thing I saw. A lot of people in their timings and stuff would overcook the chicken and it would basically be just pulled chicken with some overcooked sausage. And so
Yeah.
this is why we're taking the steps to do each thing, because we want you to be able to see the chicken in the jambalaya, just like if you made it a traditional stovetop way.
Exactly. This recipe, you actually have chicken pieces with your shrimp and your crab all around you. It's a good bite.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bite. So we're gonna let that go for 5 minutes and then we'll pull it out and go on to the next step. All right, our chicken is nicely brown, so we're just gonna take out using a slotted spoon. And a little note of when you're trimming your chicken and everything, don't trim off all the fat. You want a little fat, because that's what we rendered down. And so we're kind of building flavors. The fat from the andouille, the fat from the chicken, having kind of that shrimp taste. And then we're gonna add our vegetables. So it's all about building flavor. So as I get this out, I'm actually gonna leave the bones in because I want them to continue to saute so that they can release all their flavor. But to that, we're gonna add our trinity. And a trinity is just like a mirepoix, except instead of carrots, you have bell peppers. And we're using half red and half green. And so, yeah, I mean, I like the flavor of the green bell pepper, what it brings, but also like a little bit of the sweetness from an actual red bell pepper or an orange or,
Yeah, in a jambalaya, the kind of green bell pepper flavor is a good addition for sure.
Yeah. And then because I want to, as the great Emerald would say, kick it up a notch, I like to put in 1 jalapeno. Now I did seed it and rib it. If you want it a little spicier, add 2. If you don't want it spicy, don't add the jalapeno. That's fine and dandy too.
Yep.
And so to this, like again, we're building flavors. We're gonna add a couple of teaspoons more of our Cajun seasoning. Now you're thinking like, man, that seems like a lot of seasoning. But remember, we're putting it on a rice dish, and rice is not seasoned. So you're gonna need it, otherwise it's gonna become very bland. So we're gonna let this go for 4 minutes, and then we'll add some 4 cloves of chopped garlic, and let that go for 1 minute. You don't wanna add your garlic right now, because you'll probably end up burning it, and no one wants that. So we're gonna get this working, and then keep moving on. All right, our veggies are looking good. We're gonna go ahead and add our garlic. And we're just gonna let that go for about a minute. And while that's going, we're gonna make our little herb bouquet. Now, I like to use fresh bay leaves. You can use 2 dried if you can't find fresh. A few sprigs of thyme and 1 sprig of about 4 inches of rosemary. And because we're going to take this all out, I just like to make a little bouquet, take my little string, tie a little knot, and then wrap it around to hold those bay leaves in. And then you have no worries. And then when you're done cooking, you just pull it out.
You don't have to worry about getting a woody bite.
Yes. So no one wants that. All right, got our bay leaves. And we'll just wrap it around. It's simple as that.
It looks cool too.
Yes, and then you just pull your little end out and tie them together. And that will add a ton of flavor. I see a lot of people add bay leaf, maybe thyme, but I think rosemary is not a typical that you see a lot. That's kind of my little add to the jambalaya world. I really like that. And only about 4 inches spread. All right, so we got our veggies all good. Now we're pretty much just gonna be building the pot and then sealing it and letting it do its thing. So next we're gonna take some fire roasted tomatoes with the juices. I'm gonna dump that in. Start giving that a little toss. And then some good Worcestershire sauce, which I love. Not too much, but it does add, gives more of that umami.
Definitely.
And then very importantly, we got 2 cups of rice. Now we're using parboiled rice, and I find in all my years of experience in restaurants, parboiled rice is the way you want to go whenever you're dealing with rice, unless it's like sushi rice or that, or risotto. But if you're just making any type of rice dish, use parboiled. Otherwise, a traditional long grain rice, you're gonna need to wash it until it runs clear. But then again, it's easy to overcook it in Instant Pots where it just turns into mush. So I find the parboiled is the way to go. I love it, I trust it, and it comes out what you would expect to see at a restaurant. So we're just gonna spin this around, toss, get everything coated, get those veggies mixed in. I know I've seen recipes say don't do that, put layers or you'll get a burn notice. We've cooked this several times. So far, nothing, but I just like how it builds flavor, and that's why I do it. And to that, I'm gonna add a little more seasoning. We're gonna do a little smoked paprika, half a teaspoon.
Gotta love some smoked paprika.
Yes. And it'll help give a nice little coloring.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, some pepper. That's right. Now you don't have to, but I do recommend at least a half teaspoon. Maybe a grind or two more. Set that aside. Give this one more toss. That looks good. And now we're gonna add 3 cups of a good bone broth. We really like this bone broth in particular. So, and then finally, we're not gonna add our seafood yet, but we are gonna put our chicken back in. And our sausage, our andouille. Remember, get all the juices and everything. And now give this a good stir, kind of mix things. And then you also want to make sure, get all the stuff off the sides. And then take your little bouquet, push it down in here. Double check, I didn't forget anything. Boom, boom, boom. Nope. All right. And that's the hard part.
Yeah, that's kind of true. If you forget anything, it's a little hard to.
Yes. I did, one of the times I was working on this, I did accidentally okay, I'm gonna put the lid, start it. And I was like, oh, my herbs. So I had to cancel it.
That's fine.
Okay. So we're gonna put our lid on, and then we're just gonna go hit our pressure, high pressure, and we're doing it for 7 minutes. And then we'll let it naturally release for 5. And then after that, we'll release the steam. That's the fun part. And then we'll add our seafood. And that's when it starts, the magic really starts happening. So we'll see y'all in a bit. Now the fun part. And we wait. And we wait. Smells good though.
Oh my God, how much steam is in there?
There's a lot. Goodness.
It's been going for 3 minutes now.
Yeah, we'll take up to 4. Think of how much, that's how much pressure
That's a lot of pressure.
built into this little thing. Steam is out. That is looking delicious. And if you can see, the chicken pieces are still pretty whole. That's what we like. So now we're gonna take our crawfish tails. And let me tell you what, when you buy crawfish tails, they'll come in a pack, frozen. I would recommend looking for the ones from Louisiana, but even if you don't, that's fine. But no matter which ones you do get, wash them. Put them in a strainer and wash all that gook out. Otherwise, it will taste awful. And that's coming from running a Cajun restaurant. We always washed our packaged crawfish.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it tastes horrible.
If somebody tells you not to wash it, they don't like you.
Yeah. So we're gonna add that and we're gonna gently stir, kind of fold that around. Then we're gonna take our shrimp with the juices, that's fine. We're gonna do the same thing because yeah, we par cooked them, but the whole goal of this is now to finish them off, warm the crawfish and the little fake crab, but I like to cut them in to look like little scallops. And again, if you don't want seafood, say you're not a fan of seafood, that's fine. It can be a chicken and sausage jambalaya. And at this point, you'd be done. You'd let it rest for about 10 minutes and you would be ready to go. All right, so we got all that. And while I'm here, I'll take that guy out because he's already done all the work we need him to do. And then we'll take our lid, careful the lid will be hot, put it back on, and it's on the warm function. We'll set our timer for 12 minutes, and then we'll start eating. That's the good part. All right, it is that time. Release any pressure that might have built up while I was just sitting there. Now, that looks good. That looks good. So all you gotta do is just have your big platter or something, and we're gonna spoon it out. Oof.
Ooh,
That
look at that.
looks delicious.
Yes, it does.
Smells good. And like I said earlier, I mean, the chicken isn't stringy like you see in a lot. These shrimp are cooked perfectly.
Yep.
Just by looking at them, I can tell. And then all the other yummy seafood. Now remember, there are 4 bones in here, so you're gonna wanna pick those out and just toss them. They've done all their work.
With my luck, it'll just be in my plate.
Yeah, actually, probably will be. Well, that's a good start for now. And so we're just gonna take a little bit of our parsley, a knife, maybe a green onion or 2. And you always gotta garnish. I mean, that's what makes it more palatable.
Yeah, and your parsley done.
I just throw a little parsley on here. Maybe get some green onion. I love green onions. And pretty much there you have it. Jambalaya. And I'm telling you again, if you don't like seafood, don't worry about it. Don't put the seafood in there. But if you do, it's even better. So
Is it taste time?
Not for you.
Oh.
But hey, you over there. Ah, just kidding, you.
Hey, I'm over here. I guess that means I can come.
All right. Well, we'll take some from there.
Yeah.
There you go. Ooh. Almost did grab a bone.
I would not be surprised.
I'm excited for this, even though we've tried different variations. But again, look at that rice.
Yeah, that parboiled rice. I'm telling you.
That's the way to go. Otherwise, it becomes super mushy and gummy. It was good flavor. But then I was like, no, we got to go with what we know.
It's true.
A little parboiled rice.
Yeah, because the rice, it's not super gummy. It actually has a rice shape. It's not just a rice patty.
Good.
Hot, but oh my goodness. Man.
I'm telling you, that is, I love all those flavors together. And you probably can't really tell, but see, the chicken, well, that's a crawfish, but on top is a little piece of chicken that we cut. It didn't turn into just shred and just disappear.
See? Maybe you can see that.
It's cooked pork, and that's what you want. Too many of these recipes have been shredded chicken, overcooked shrimp, overcooked like mushy rice.
It's true.
But if you follow this, I guarantee you, we have replicated this every time we've done it. Yeah. And it's delicious every time.
This is the 4th time, 5th time of this actual variation of the recipe. And every single time, this rice comes out perfect. Oh, that's an important part, actually.
Yeah, one little, if you're, because we did put a jalapeno, but again, that jalapeno isn't a little spicy.
And I like my stuff spicy.
I always throw in a little bit of hot sauce. Of your choice, but I like our Louisiana for this dish.
Louisiana, Crystals, is a good one too. But your preferred hot sauce is just fine.
That nice little vinegar and the hot sauce really balances everything out. Man.
It does. I gotta say, you definitely need to make this jambalaya recipe.
Yeah.
Especially with Mardi Gras. I mean, come on.
I know. Plus, we're gonna be making an awesome bourbon milk punch.
Yep.
It'll go perfect with this. And we got a little cream brulee coming for dessert.
Yeah, fun little cream brulee recipe.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about, not gonna lie.
And then our history recipe, that's gonna be fun.
Yes, we got some mock turtle soup on the way.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we're gonna finish our lunch and we hope you guys will give this a try.
Definitely.
And remember, like, subscribe, and eat well.
Hey, yeah, that's the important thing. Eat well.
That is. Till next time, remember, keep camping and keep cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still good. Oops. It's still really good.
It's super good. I love the sausage.
Did you get a shrimp? No. Taste how perfect that shrimp is cooked.
Wow. That is actually cooked absolutely freaking
America,
perfect.
quit overcooking your shrimp.
Seriously.
2 minutes. I feel like I need some big band music. Dun, 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 dun. Mardi Gras.